What's up, everybody? Welcome to the K2 podcast. So today is a brand new episode, and it's kind of an exciting day for me, too, because I'll tell you why. Because, one, I'm having you on the show, so that's pretty cool. So thanks for being here. Thanks for being here. But we also reached 100 subscribers today, so that's pretty cool, you know. So thanks for coming in. You know, it's good to see you. I hadn't seen you since high school.
High school, yeah.
Yeah. All right, and you got your lovely fiance here in Elizabeth. Yeah, Elizabeth. So that's pretty cool. And you said you guys met at Liberty? Is that what you were telling me?
Liberty. Yep.
Okay. And you said, did y'all have the same classes or just ended up mutual friends?
We ended up just, like, it was a mutual friend, and then we met, and then we started hanging out, started talking. And
That's
we were
awesome.
Friends and, you know.
That's pretty cool, man.
Yeah.
So why don't you, for anybody who doesn't know, because you and I are familiar, and most of our friends or anybody who maybe on like social media, they obviously know we know each other, or you know we have people that know both of us. But for people who don't know, why don't you explain a little bit about who you are and a little bit about your background?
Sure.
All right.
So basically, man, I'm somebody that is big in the ministry. That's my whole thing, and I started getting into ministry when I was 15.
Okay.
And I'm 30 now, so that's 15 years of being in ministry, and that's taken a lot of different shapes and things like that over the years and whatnot. And so right now, throughout the whole thing, and I'm going to get more into this, I mean, I'm a guy that just wants to obey God and do what the Lord want me to do and live how he want me to live, man. And
so where did
just,
that come from? And do you think that has to do with like your upbringing, how you were raised? Because in today's society,
sure,
there's not many people that are outspoken about saying, "Hey, this is I want to dedicate myself to God, or I want to be a man of God," or you know, or just putting God first. You just don't hear about that these days anymore. You know, to me, I feel like there's a lot of people out there, but it's kind of something that doesn't get talked about. So what's the inspiration for you? Like, where did all of this come from? Is this something you found on your own? You think it had to do with your upbringing? What brought you to God?
So what kind of happened, man, is I was raised in the church, but at some point when I was around 7 years old or something like that, I kind of fell off. Okay. And then by the time I was 14, I was just kind of curious, and I wanted to see for myself. So I started asking hard questions, and I started getting answers, man.
So when you say asking hard questions, you're asking God or people, or
asking God, asking God directly.
That's interesting.
You know,
do you have any examples that you want to share?
And I got so many examples, man.
All right, go for it. I'd love to hear one.
But I tell you how I even got saved, man.
Okay.
I was alone in my house, February 14, 2005. I was wondering, like, okay, is God real? Is this God real that the Bible talks about and all of that? And I made a bet, and I said, okay, if you're real, I'll start reading my Bible every day. And I asked for believe it or not, a music video.
Okay.
I asked for Exhibit to show up on the music video. And the reason why I asked for that is because I didn't necessarily like Exhibit that much.
Sure.
And I knew it was hard pressed for it to be played. And so the next commercial break, that was the first video.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So then it was like, and I started to realize what God was really like through situations like that, through reading the Bible. And I started to realize, man, he is totally different than what people are making him out to be. And
I agree.
If you want him to show up and you serious, he'll show up.
So, you know, it's interesting you bring this up because just recently, okay, like I'm talking about recent as 2 days ago, I'm driving down one of our, you may be familiar with this road because you're from Chester, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so you remember, what is that, Point of Rocks Park, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so you know that Snake Road back there?
Right across from there.
Okay, you know Snake Road, right?
Yes, sir. Yes,
so
sir.
I was driving down that road just 2 days ago.
Okay.
And as I'm driving, something told me, hey, slow down around this turn. You need to slow down. And I'm doing the speed limit, but I was saying something that said slow down even more.
Wow.
I don't know what it was or what gave me the inclination because I drive this road every day. This is how I get back and forth to work is through Snake Road. I take that 5 days a week. So I'm familiar with the road. But this particular time, something said, hey, slow down around this curve. So as I'm approaching the curve, sure enough, a Mack truck, a semi was coming around the corner, and I could have ran into it, but for some reason, something had told me to slow down.
Wow.
Was that a sign from God? Because any other time, I wouldn't have slowed down, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like,
Yeah.
it was just something had told me. I don't know if you call it intuition. Maybe it was God saying, hey, slow down here, protecting me. But it's interesting that you bring up that point that we look for these signs in God, and then he's able to deliver those type of things. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And I don't think people give that enough credit. Some people will chalk it up as a who knows what. But for me, I believe it's God.
And see, I'm a talk about that. I'm gonna lean into that for a second, because a lot of people don't understand that in the dark, that type of stuff is what my faith is built off of.
Mm-hmm.
Because, it's stuff like that and obeying stuff like that where you get to know God personally.
Mm-hmm.
Because he will reveal himself. He will speak to you. And one of the primary ways that he speaks to individuals is through your conscience or unctions or stuff like that. And, man, God uses that stuff, man. And when you have inclinations like that, man, you roll with it, man.
Right.
Roll with it.
So just to go on a little bit, you also have a YouTube channel, right?
Yes, sir.
And I'm going to put, for anybody that's interested, I'll put the link in the description of the video so they can check your channel out, because you got some great videos. And one of the most recent ones that you put out was the, the power of negativity.
That's right.
So where did that inspiration from that video come from? Like, where did the idea come from? How did you, because the skit was pretty cool. You had your fiance Elizabeth in it. Like, and she came, like, I thought the whole concept to me, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, but this is what I took away from the video, and you guys should go check it out and see what you think for yourself. But when I first watched it, it was like, no matter how powerful you are, or excuse me, how, what's the word I'm looking for? Positive you are, no matter how positive you are, the video, I want people to go check out the video, so I don't want to give out too much. But basically, you and Elizabeth line up for a race, essentially.
Right.
And she comes in all bubbly and positive, and she thinks she's going to beat you with her positivity.
Right.
But that's not enough to do it.
Right.
So, and then that's where you come in with the little bit of the negativity. You know what I mean? So, like, that's where you say, hey, look, I don't know. I'll let you describe it a little bit. So tell me where the inspiration came from and what that video meant and how the idea came about for that particular video.
And this, the inspiration from that comes from a pretty in-depth place, because of life experience and all of that. But so with that video, and first of all, Elizabeth was sandbagging a little bit. She's actually really fast.
Yeah, I could tell she was holding back a little bit. I could tell she was holding back.
She's pretty fast in real life.
But still.
And there'll be another
and she
video.
had boots on, to be fair, I think, in the video as well. Didn't you have like some rain boots?
There were like
something?
socks.
Oh, okay,
socks and stuff. But so where that comes from, okay, is real life hard experiences bringing me to that point. And so this gonna sound crazy, maybe a little counterintuitive, but some of the people that have done the most damage and tried to do the most damage to me have been positive people, man. Positive people.
So do you mean, for example, like people that you trusted, or you believe that they had your best interest at heart and they didn't?
Not necessarily. I mean, in the most rigid sense of the word positive, because let me give you a little background. So I'm somebody that I like to go hard.
Sure.
I'm somebody that just like to go hard. I'm somebody that
your videos say that about you too. Like the passion you put into the energy, you can feel that through the camera. So I agree with you on that. You know
I appreciate that,
yes,
man.
Sir.
I appreciate that. And people that grew up with me, they know that. Like I'm not the most talented or the most whatever, but whatever field or whatever, they knew I went out there and played.
Yeah. Well, you put your heart into it.
I put my heart in it.
Yeah.
And so check this out. From my elementary school years, I'm going to start there and move forward. In my elementary school years, without mentioning names, I had some teachers that were real nice and positive to me, but they be writing notes about me telling me that I'm not equipped, or I need Ritalin, or I need this, or I
So
can't
are they
do
writing
it.
these letters to your parents?
They writing them to my parents.
Okay.
But they not correcting me in the classroom.
I understand.
So they're very nice and positive. Oh, it's
Yeah.
okay, yay. Okay, and then as I get older, the positive people, right? They single me out, and they go on the attack.
Mm-hmm.
See, what a lot of people don't realize is the positive people. Some of them, not all of them, but I'm gonna get into what I mean. They went on the attack because when they see somebody going hard and putting their heart in it, there's something in them that doesn't like that, because they don't want to go hard, so they don't want you to go hard either.
Yeah.
So they guilt trip you.
Yeah.
And so man, I've had positive people have meetings about me and try to set me up and try to get me out of places, all of that, and they're very nice and oh yay, but they're so fluffy on the outside, but in reality they're the first to try to cancel you when you start telling the hard truth.
That's interesting. And it's kind of interesting to bring that, because this is a little bit of a touchy subject for me, but for example, this podcast here, it's not the biggest. I got 100 subscribers. I mean, and then I appreciate all the people who do subscribe, but
absolutely,
it's 100 subscribers. Okay, it's
and
nothing
I'm one of
great.
those, by the way.
Yeah,
so.
appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
But
yes, sir.
the point is, there's a lot of people who have messaged me or reached out like, "Oh, Kevin, I see what you're doing with the podcast," but they do it, like you said, so they do all to my face, be real nice and blah blah blah, but under the table or behind my back or to my parents, not really my parents, but just like this figurative thing, they're talking to whoever negatively. You get what I'm saying? But they're telling me like, "Oh, I see you're doing great with the podcast," but they won't subscribe. They won't share my video. They don't, but they'll act like to my face that it's, that they're all supporting me. You know what I'm saying? They see what I'm doing, but it's more so, what I think I've narrowed it down to? They want to check in with you. You know what I'm saying? See what your intentions are. See how you're feeling about it. Are they really care about you, or are they just trying to see what you're up to? You know what I'm saying?
That's exactly what they want to
watch
you. Yeah. They want to watch you fail. If I can keep it 100,
that's kind of how it feels.
But they don't want to be a part of it or help you.
Yeah.
Oh, isn't that something?
Yeah.
It's just and then one more thing about the positivity, the positivity negative thing, and I'm glad you brought that up because I can personally relate, honestly, on the ministry front, as far as people showing the face here and then doing different later.
Yeah.
But one thing, man, in our society, okay. And I'm gonna, address the audience with this. I'm offering people steak and potatoes and green beans and real quality stuff, and people overlook what I'm doing. They don't look at the nutritional value of what I have to offer. They rather pick somebody else because it's donuts and it's sweet.
Good, very true. Very true.
And so, man,
they'd rather help out somebody they don't know, never met, somebody who for example, then this is kind of a quick one, but so say, I don't want to use anybody's name, but think of the largest podcast you can think of. Okay, you think of these large podcasts. You go comment on the video. Hey, I really liked your message. Great video. Are you gonna get a response? No. But if you comment on my video, I want to interact with those people. I want to meet with them. And they would rather give their attention to somebody who gives two F's about them and could care less. Than supporting somebody that you could see grow. They could, I'm generally want to hang out with people. You want to hang out, I'll be able to do that. I'm not gonna act like I'm above you or anything like that. So my point, I guess, would be is it's almost like they'd rather see you fail, support somebody, and maybe. And this is kind of a little bit of a philosophical type of thing, but I wonder if it's because they don't want. If they try to support you and you do fail, do you think that they feel somehow connected to that failure? Is that what holds them back from trying to support you? What do you think that do you think there's anything to that?
This is something I really took and thought about a lot. Some of it does have to do with that. I think that is a part of it, but I think part of it is people like categories. And if they okay, so if you're already famous, they're okay with you being famous.
Okay.
But if you're somebody they know in their circle, you're just supposed to be down here with us.
Or what their idea of you is.
Exactly.
So, because they have this idea of who Tukes is. They say, okay, Tukes is this person, or Kevin is this person. That's who he is.
Right.
And they can't see you being anything else other than what they have made up in their mind for you.
They don't like the idea of you going up there and hustling and getting out there and moving forward. Like if you blow up and you got 1 million followers, those same people, oh yeah, man, we knew him since we were.
Yeah.
But they don't want to go on the grind with you because they don't want to do it themselves.
That's exactly right. They don't want to go on the grind with you. And it's almost like they would, and I think it also comes from a place like they want you to do good. They want you to do great, but they don't want you to do better than them. You get what I'm saying? And I think that's what another part of it comes in too. So it's kind of interesting. So what motivated you to start your YouTube channel? Like where'd that come from? Did that part from the ministry aspect, or?
Yes, sir.
So, and do you, when I ask about the ministry, are you part of a specific church, or is this do you plan to start your own ministry, or go into a little bit about that? Like what's your goals or aspirations for that?
Definitely. So with the whole ministry thing, I started the ministry in 2019.
Okay.
And we met in person, and it did something that not many other ministries can do or did do. We met on Saturdays, and we had these short services. I incorporated film with a message, with a 30-minute service and state-of-the-art facilities and all that, and it was going well, and then this coronavirus hit, and so then I just started moving online, and
that affected a lot. And interestingly enough, it seems like almost more than anything, like at one point they weren't gonna let people go to service. They, they were letting some bars and stuff be open, but you couldn't go to church. That was really interesting. Like that's unprecedented. I don't think that's ever been a thing before where they have closed down churches.
I don't know if it has, man.
I can't think of a time it's ever had. I mean, of course, we
only 30.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know, but I can't think of it. I don't know of any time where you couldn't legally, or where they said no. If you go to church, essentially they're gonna lock you up. I guess. I mean, I don't know what they could have really done. I don't know, but. I mean, they weren't allowing people to, congregate. I
mean, it was clearly churches are clearly targeted in that because
it was interesting.
They let you, go protest, burn the city down. It's all good. You can burn the city down. You can gather together doing that. You can go in Walmart, Amazon, and huddled up 2 feet apart in Walmart.
Yeah, Walmart never closed.
Can't go to church.
Yeah, that was
weird. Huddle up at Chipotle and get record sales. I helped out with that.
Yeah, me too. I'm guilty.
Target. Looked like a communist line, but we can't go to church.
Yeah, that was weird. That was interesting.
You know,
that was very strange. So, is there any videos that you have done that was particularly your favorite on your YouTube channel? Do you have any favorite, or you like them all equally, or?
Do I have a favorite? So many of the videos. There's a whole lot of videos that I really, really like that I haven't even put up yet.
Interesting.
So there's a lot of content that's just
waiting.
It's just waiting.
Wait, well, that's pretty cool. Well, I will say, won't say that. So you cover a wide range of different topics and different things, and like some are like I saw religion, a bunch of different stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like you could like power of negativity, but also there's one that speaks about racism, and I think it's titled "Racism: An Honest Look" or something along those lines. Is the name of the video. So what inspired you to do that video? And is it because at the time, was this around like when the George Floyd stuff was going on? Okay, so with all the racial tension and stuff, I'm assuming that's what led you to make the video.
Right.
So tell me a little bit about the video, because I've watched it, but obviously I want you to kind of explain it in your own words for the viewers and what the video, like where the vision came from and what your intentions were behind that video.
Sure, man. And I got a whole lot of backlash from that video.
Really?
Oh man, a lot of backlash. So I really feel like I do need to explain this because because of that.
Okay.
But I tell you, I was losing sleep at night before I did the video. Like that's how much it was in me to put it out. I had to put it out.
So what was weighing on you?
What the whole a lot of things, and it still does. I mean, it still bothers me. But what was weighing on me is the fact that the real truth is being covered up about racism and what's going on and all of that is looked at from one particular angle, and it's not really being evaluated based on individuals doing what they do for better or for worse. And it started to weigh on me because I felt like I was seeing a side of it, experiencing the side of it, and people with the side that I see, nobody listens to them.
What do you mean exactly?
So what I mean by that is the side that I see as far as racism. I see people guilty on both sides.
Absolutely.
I see people. I see white people that's guilty. I see black people that's guilty. I see people that's guilty on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
And I see it a lot. But the part that I guess bothers me is the part where we as a people contribute to it.
Yeah, add fuel to the fire.
Add fuel to the fire.
Right.
But if you say something, you're a racist.
Right.
If I say something, I'm an Uncle Tom. Sellout.
Yeah, and that's interesting that you brought that up.
That's why it's...
Well, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I was just thinking here. I was looking through the comments on that video.
Yeah.
And there was one comment that said, and I'm just going to, and maybe you can give your take on it, but the lady said, so she was speaking to you on this comment, and she goes, "You seem to have a very negative experience about your own culture. If you understand our history, unfairness is everything put in our path. I'm sure you would revamp your views." Now, she had a couple more sentences after that. Sure. But where do you think that, like, that's one thing I didn't understand is, like, how, for having an opinion or your experiences, or what some people like to label your truth, you know, that I hear that thrown a lot, like my truth, you know, my truth. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Like, the people say that, right? So with that, why is it because you have a different outlook or a different experience, like you say, you're labeled Uncle Tom, or you're ostracized by, you know, people maybe that share the same skin color, something like that. Why do you feel like that is, like, where does that come from? Or because you're not pushing the talking points, you're not saying the same things that, like, I don't know how to really explain it, but where do you think that come from? Why do you think she felt the need to say, oh, you know, you have a problem or a very negative experience about your own culture? Do you have a negative experience, or is that like
it comes from things I said in the video, because I said some things in the video that would give somebody that impression, because I talked about when I grew up and whatnot, and how my own people made fun of me and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So that's why they would see it like that. But I want to let you continue your question, because I have a lot of thoughts to go with that, because it's some
sure.
Some
well, I remember one thing you said in the video that I found kind of interesting is you said, you know, I didn't have Jordans on, so I got looked at, you know, I was treated differently by, quote unquote, in your words, my own people, or, you know, I didn't get treated the same way because I didn't want to wear the designer clothes or whatever it might have been, you know, so you related that. And I can kind of say I had some of the same experiences, you know. I feel like I get along with everybody. I judge a person by their character, what they bring to the table, how they treat other people. All of that stuff is what I look at when I'm speaking to a person. You know what I'm saying? So I don't even know where this whole racial divide, because I feel like when we were in high school, that wasn't really an issue. I didn't feel, I mean, you know what I'm saying? I feel like those were, quote unquote, good times. You know what I'm saying? Like, I enjoyed my years. Like, it was pretty nice. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was never like, nothing like we see today. So where is this like revamping coming from? Or like, I just don't understand. I don't get it. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's just weird to me. I judge a person by their character, what they bring to the table, how they treat other people. That speaks far more volumes than anything else in my book.
That's the way we ought to do it, and that's even what Martin Luther King said we should do. Judge by the content of the character,
Exactly.
not the color of the skin.
Absolutely.
So with this whole thing, as far as my take on it, I have some regrets on how I didn't specify some things in that video, because in that video I didn't make distinctions between different types of black people, because I was rolling through it so fast. I had done the video in 9 minutes, and I was like, that was too long. So I did it and made my whole cadence faster and everything. Got it done in 6 minutes. So some details I skipped over, and that's one of the details. So people took that to mean, oh, you think all black people are bad. You think, and that's not the case. It's
Sure.
not all. But what I do need to say about this whole thing, because it's a lot of depth behind this. We have a we have a sickness in our culture as black people. We have a sickness in our culture.
White people too, though, just to be clear. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So
Absolutely.
it's not just a one-sided thing,
No, I just and the reason I'm putting it like this is because there are sicknesses in every culture, but there's a specific brand of sickness in our culture that's special to us. And I see it all the time, and it hurts to look at.
What is that sickness?
Yeah, I'm a go over it.
Okay.
And it's really hurting us.
Okay.
And so the best way to describe this sickness, it comes from pride. It comes from a pride, and it seeps into this thing of this groupthink and emotional mentality, where this is in other cultures too.
Sure.
And this is not every single black person. And what I'm about to say, if the shoe fits, wear it. So if this don't apply and it's not you, then it's not you. But if it is you, then I'm talking to you. So we have a sickness to where, I'm going to use this analogy, right? People trust Nikes because they're Nikes. They don't evaluate the quality of the shoe. So the same type of thinking I see in our people, not everybody, but a lot of them, where we trust a certain type of political group, or we trust a certain type of person, a certain type of fame, a certain type of clothes, certain type of style, certain type of money. And these people, like, there are literally some real black people that we call real black people, one of us, that will sell you, have you killed, make a fur coat out of you in a heartbeat.
Well, some people would argue Chicago is like that, right?
Chicago's definitely like that.
When I just say because, and I don't want to go into like the deep specifics of it, but many people will say, and I believe you may have referred to it in one of your videos, but where you talk about like a black man being murdered, but no one talks about the black on black crime, that
Right.
occurs and stuff like that. So maybe that's a little bit what you're referring to little bit.
Not fully.
Okay.
Not fully. I mean in terms of politicians,
Okay.
even political leaders, thought leaders that don't really care about the betterment of our people and what it takes for us to get ahead,
Sure.
but they pander to our people
They do.
specifically so that we can vote for them, and they go and destroy our community.
Yeah, and it's interesting you bring that up is because, Black Lives Matter, if I'm not mistaken, Joe Biden was, all about it, all into it and everything like that. And I don't want to go too deep into politics, but, he was really all about it and everything like that. And then when he got into office, they reached out to him for a meeting.
Right.
And they haven't heard anything back.
Oh,
You know, they
nothing at
haven't.
all.
They didn't say he didn't want to meet with them, or like I don't know what the current status of it is. But last time I checked, Black Lives Matter official Instagram page put up a post and said, "Hey Joe, we're waiting. You know, we'd like to speak with you," and nothing.
Right.
So that's kind of, I think, you know what you say, like they pander, but not really trying to address. It's more of like a they look to pacify or something. Like
they look to pacify, and they look to tell us what we want to hear as a whole. And the people that are telling us the truth, we kick them out. I mean, there are some really brilliant black people.
Absolutely.
There are some brilliant black people that could really change the thought process, and I mean, elite thinking black people, and black people cast them out because they're not cool.
Right.
They're not down. They're not saying the same things, pandering to us. And then we letting basketball players and Cardi B being our thought leaders.
Valid point. That's a valid point. That's a valid point.
That's the sickness that's in our culture. Now, like I said, it's not everybody.
Sure.
But that's the sickness that's in our culture, that we will promote people like her, and then throw people out like Thomas Sowell, or he ain't one of us. He's a sellout. And what make them a sellout is simply having a view that isn't the group think.
Right. A good example of that might be Candace Owens. Are you familiar with her?
I am.
Yeah, so she's kind of, I mean, I'm not a biggest fan of Candace Owens, I'll be honest.
I'm kind of not either. I feel two ways about her.
I feel two ways about her,
Yeah.
but at the same time, you see that with her because she has allegedly her own opinions, you know, about what she feels, and she says what she thinks, and she's ostracized and called things like, I don't know what the female version of an Uncle Tom is, but that's, you know, she gets those same type of comments, you know, and they say, oh, you know, she's part of the problem, and you know, all this stuff, but simply for having her own thoughts, you know.
Right.
And like I've been like, so I feel like I said, I get along with people of all walks of life.
Right.
I look at the content of their character. That's how I've always been.
Right.
But what's interesting is it feels like the internet is the melting pot or the stirring pot for all of this stuff, because I've never been called racist in my life except on the internet.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like
Right.
in person,
Right.
at school, I never, you know, you knew me from high school.
Absolutely,
I knew you.
yeah.
I got along with everybody. I
Right.
said I mingled with. It didn't matter where you come from. We got along,
Right.
and you were a good person. You treated me right, and I treated you right. It was cool. It
Right.
was fine. So where this internet thing comes from, where people, I don't know if it's a way of some kind of release of energy, or maybe, and even also with being the lockdowns and coronavirus and all that stuff has kind of added to it. But like, it's just kind of, I'm just kind of shocked, or it's kind of interesting, because I've never been. Like, if I say what they're calling me racist. I'm not racist. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
but because I say I support for Trump. Well, you're a racist. And I'm like, why? Because I like Donald Trump. You know, I'm racist. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't understand the correlation. You know what I'm saying? And maybe I'm missing something. I look to understand. I really do. But then even when I try to understand or say things like, hey, like, could you explain a little more, because I'm not getting it, blah blah, I'm not speaking to a racist. You know, they're not even open to a dialogue. You know what I'm saying? And that
happens a lot, man. That's part of the sickness. It's in different cultures, but it's especially prevalent.
Well, it's been happening. It's
all
mostly
over.
by white folks that told me
Yeah,
that. You know what I'm saying?
it's
Like,
all-
they tell
right.
me, I'm getting called by,
It's
I'm white, racist by another white person. You know,
It's
it's
all
weird.
over.
Yeah, it's crazy to me.
And so you know, the thing about it is, you know, with that, it's getting us to a place where, even though a lot of us are prospering, a lot of us are getting ahead, and so on and so forth, we holding ourselves back because we're not willing to look at what we contribute to the situation as a people, and other people on the other side that could help us. We're throwing them out of the way before we even look at, you know, are they for me or against me? Hey, they for me. Just because they look different doesn't mean they against me.
Right.
If we start looking at things based on content and character,
I think we'll go.
we
That
be
could
a lot
really change
better.
things. You're
Absolutely.
1,000% right. So I mean this with the utmost respect. So I hope you understand. But on a scale 1 to 10, how important is it to you about what others think about you?
That's a very
Like,
good one.
and I'll explain why I'm
Sure.
asking that question in a minute. But like
Sure.
on a scale 1 to 10, how much do you care about what other people think about you?
I'm gonna say a 5.
Okay.
And that's probably higher than you might think. I'm not foolish enough to think I don't care what nobody thinks about me.
Yeah, I would say, because I've asked people this question before, and they
Yeah.
immediately say, I don't care what nobody thinks about me. That's like their little quick response. I don't
Right.
care what nobody thinks about me, and blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't give two shits, blah, blah, blah.
And
That's
you're
what
not
they
gonna-
say. But honestly, by me knowing them, interacting with them, the little things that they do, you
Right.
can tell that they do actually care. You get what I'm saying? So it's good that like you said, I'm gonna be honest with myself. I'm gonna give it a 5, but I'll let you keep going on that. So like, what is your reasoning behind the 5? Like, what is your?
So I say a 5 because I care a lot about what people think.
Okay.
I don't want that's part of the reason why I respond to so many comments where people come at me and all of that, because I do care about what they think.
I think that's my problem. I almost to
don't-
a fault sometimes.
I mean, it's important
It
because
is.
that means you're willing to interact and be with people and you're genuine. And
But the problem that I've faced with that is
Sure.
that I come from that genuine aspect,
Yeah.
and I feel like I'm being trolled sometimes, or I'm not getting treated with the same level of respect back, because I'm like genuinely trying to have a conversation, a dialogue, and then all I get hit with is like roadblocks, or like just like I don't even spend my time on a racist, like is the comment or something I would get back. You know what I mean? But
Right.
really, I'm trying to have a dialogue or a conversation about it. You know what I mean? So it's just kind of interesting to see that it's just kind of, I don't know how that works. And
some people don't want a dialogue.
yeah, it
You know,
doesn't, I don't understand
They
it.
want to be able to write people off, say their views, and everybody else that has an opposing view, they like to straw man people, if you're familiar with that terminology. And then just like creating a cardboard cutout, have your BB gun and just shooting them down. It's
Right.
not once you have an opposing view in a lot of people's mind, you're not a person. You're just that view. And now I'm gonna knock you out. You don't. There's no reason for it. There's nope. You're just a whatever.
Right. And you know what's interesting over time is one of the things that was a big push for in America is diversity, different ideas, different viewpoints, all these different things. You wanted
Right.
that whole
Melting pot. Right.
Exactly, great
Right.
word. So you wanted this melting pot, but now as it seems, it's more so like I think this is from a Tupac movie where he says, "Get down or lay down." You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of how I feel like it's getting to this point. It's like if you don't conform to the talking points or these narratives,
it's definitely getting
and it's like a battle on both sides. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like the right has their little talking points and left has their talking points.
Right.
Me personally, I'm like done with both sides. Like I'm tired of both sides. You know what I mean? Like I've had
I feel
enough
you on
with
that.
the 2-party system for
I
me.
feel you on that.
It's just I've about had enough. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? It's kind of, I don't know. It's just one of those things. But the reason why I ask is how important it is to you that about what others think to you. Because from my personal, and like when I started this question, I said with the utmost respect, and I mean that. But it's because when I look at you as a person that comes from a genuine place. You put your passion into things, like you put your heart into it, like you go 100%. Like that's. I've witnessed you do that even through your videos. Like I watch your videos, and when I see you talking, like you come in and you're all this excitement and everything, but you don't. It's not like you go out of like you say, I don't always wear Jordans, or I don't have to do this, or I don't have to do that. And I think a lot of people struggle with that aspect. Like so how can they be? Where do you think the balance is between like caring for yourself and what people think of you and not caring?
So now the first part of my 5, to kind of answer your question and answer that at the same time, I care about what people think. But once I have presented myself what I need to present, and and they want me to be something different, or they want me to exchange what I am or who I am for their opinion and chasing it, oh, I'm good. At that point, I'm good on what you think. You know, if I need to sell out or I need to, well, you need to dress up and you need to do, you good. You're not what I'm trying to communicate there. If I have to go out on the limb and become something to please somebody,
that's a good point.
Then I don't care what they think.
Right.
I'm good. You can think I'm a loser, whatever. Go ahead.
Yeah.
But if you're dealing with me according to my presentation and what I give you, that's the realm I deal with, if that makes sense.
That makes perfect sense, and I think it's a great answer. So it makes perfect sense. I think that's perfect. So we're getting towards the end of the show here. Is there anything that you wanted to touch on before we wrap up, or anything else that you had in mind that you maybe didn't get to that I'm more than willing to?
Sure.
Yeah, what you got?
You know, I just I guess so. I'm a wrap up kind of by saying where I'm at now and kind of what I'm doing.
Sure. Yeah, plug anything. Talk about any stuff you got coming up.
Definitely.
All of that stuff.
Definitely.
And I'm definitely, like I said, I'll put your YouTube link in the description. I'll get with you. We'll put all your social medias up in the description so that people can follow you, check you out, stay up to date on that. But please tell everybody what you got going on and what that, go ahead.
Definitely. So first of all, I'm gonna say, I appreciate everybody looking at this. Appreciate everybody that is looking at Kevin, looking at me, the people that are supportive.
And thanks for being here, man.
Man, I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, it was awesome. Glad we got to do it.
And right now, as far as ministry wise and all of that, my building is still shut down. So I'm putting a lot of videos out, and a lot of people may be wondering right about now, like my content right now does not appear to be as Christian as it used to be, say a couple of years ago. But the reason why I'm doing that is because I'm taking Christianity and the gospel and bringing it out into the culture, engaging with the culture, dealing with the culture from a standpoint of righteousness, and trying to meet people where they're at.
I think that's a great thing. That's something I think a lot of people aren't tapping into, and I say that because you see, I've been personally victimized. I'd like to consider myself a Christian man, and I'm a man of God, but oftentimes I go to a church and they don't come to where I'm at, or they don't, and I'm not saying come to me physically. I'm talking about mentally, my like, I don't want to use the word skepticism, but my questions or my things.
Absolutely.
And they're not, so instead they say, oh no, you shouldn't ask those questions, or they give you this like, you're not Christian if you don't do this. You better be here every Sunday, like all of these type of things that you hear, like it's being pushed upon you, and then saying, hey, well, what let's find that middle ground. What can we answer? How can we be there for you? What can we show you? Let me show you the way instead of telling you this is how it goes. You know what I mean? And so I think that's something that's great. Like nobody's really doing, and that's been my issue with church. I consider myself a man of God, but I read the Bible to myself. I spend time to myself seeking to God. I have a personal relationship with Him, and I found that worked better without a church. Sometimes that hurts. I'd like to be in a church, but I haven't found that fit yet, and I feel like it's because I haven't found that example like you're trying to give, where they're gonna meet me in the middle, try to answer my question. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
so.
Sir.
I think that's a great thing you're doing, and I'd like to be a part of it. So, I'd love to attend as soon as you get everything going and all of that stuff. I want to be there.
I'm going to let you know, man.
Awesome.
Let you know. So.
Awesome. Anything else?
I think that's it, man.
All right.
And I'm going to keep on putting out content, and y'all going to see stuff up. So, yeah.
Awesome. Well, dude, I had so much fun.
Thank you
for being here.
Yes, sir.
That's a great show. I'm looking forward to putting this out for everybody to view. So thanks again, Tukes, for being here. I really appreciate it. And your lovely assistant, Elizabeth. Thanks for coming, Elizabeth. But you guys take care. We're going to see you next week. That's all I got.
All right, sounds good. Appreciate it.
Bye.